Off the top tonight, a Grand Rapids judge ruling today that there was enough evidence to send Christopher Schur to trial in the killing of Patrick Lyoya.
We do have team coverage for you tonight. Gabrielle Pfeiffer is live with reaction, but we start with Ken Kolker, who has details on what happens now. Ken?
7 months after Christopher Schur shot and killed Patrick Lyoya during a traffic stop, this case is going to trial. But both the prosecution and the defense say they don't expect a trial until sometime next year. Before that happens, Christopher Schur's defense attorney says he expects to appeal the ruling.
The next step is we can talk to the circuit court judge, and that judge will review this judge's determination, and we anticipate we're going to do that.
With hopes that the judge would dismiss the case outright. The prosecutor says he was not surprised by the judge's ruling.
It's a low bar. I mean, obviously, it's one thing we got to get over in terms of this stage, and I think the judge followed. Like I said, I thought last week the law was on our side, so I think he followed the law.
No. Shot.
Schur shot Patrick Lyoya in the back of the head on April 4th after a traffic stop that led to a tussle. The defense argued Schur was justified for 3 reasons. Lyoya was a fleeing felon, the officer was reacting to the force used by Lyoya, and that Schur was acting in self-defense after Lyoya gained control of the officer's taser.
The reasonableness of those actions can hardly be fully and fairly judged by one person in a black robe with 20/20 vision of hindsight and from the comfortable and safe vantage point of the high perch of the armored plated judge's bench.
Instead, the judge ruled it must be left to a jury. Neither Schur nor Lyoya's family showed any emotion as the judge read his ruling.
There is sufficient evidence from which a jury could conclude the defendant did not reasonably believe that his life was immediately at risk, or could otherwise conclude that the use of the particular force used was not reasonably necessary. Accordingly, it is the court's legal obligation to bind defendant over to the 17th Circuit Court to stand trial on that charge,
where the prosecutor must prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. And you think you have the evidence for that?
Obviously, if I wouldn't be proceeding this case, if I didn't think there was something that we could do with that.
And we're not surprised, but at the same time, I think the judge indicated, at least in part, that there are some significant questions here that will make it very difficult for the prosecutor to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Officer Schur committed a crime. And we feel strongly that he would be acquitted during a jury trial.
An attorney for the Lyoya family who attended today's hearing says he plans to file a federal lawsuit against the former officer, within weeks. Live in Grand Rapids, I'm Target 8 investigator Ken Kolker.
Okay, Ken, the judge explaining his decision in that ruling today. Thank you for that. The Greater Grand Rapids branch of the NAACP says the judge made the right decision today.
News 8's Gabrielle Pfeiffer spoke to the group's president and Lyoya's family for their reaction and what they want to see happen next.
President Cleve Jackson hopes that the trial is fair and that the judge assigned to the case will not allow for it to be continuously delayed.
It's time to move forward. It's time to move forward with intentional speed. So again, not only will the community be able to heal and again start to repair, but that his family ultimately will be able to fully begin to heal and to repair, because they have not been able to do that.
During the struggle,
the Greater Grand Rapids branch of the NAACP and Patrick Lyoya's family have new hope following the decision to allow Christopher Schur to stand trial.
Starting today, that's when I'm starting seeing a little bit light in the tunnel, because Thursday and Friday, especially when I saw those evidence they were bringing against him, I don't know what I can say, because our heart was really broken. But from today on, I'm starting seeing a little bit light coming on, and we are moving forward. I have a strong faith that everything may getting better and better.
Though the family says this is a win, it's not a celebration.
We know that the road is still long, but we'll get the victory that we deserve.
Kent County Commissioner Robert Womack has stood by the family since the shooting in April. He says the upcoming trial is bigger than just one police officer.
This is about the training that the GRPD captain just said, that this was just basically perfect, that this is exactly, we are the taxpayers in the community and we want better policing and community relations, but it starts at looking at incidents right here.
The family and NAACP are praying for a conviction. Clee Jackson says the prosecutor's office must do all they can to see that through.
What we have seen is that the defense will pull out all stops. So I would just encourage Christopher Beckert on the record to be very intentional and use the full resources that he has at his disposal to make sure there is a conviction here.
President Jackson also added that any demonstrations that happen tonight, he's asking that those remain peaceful. Reporting live in front of the Kent County Courthouse, Gabrielle Pfeiffer, News 8.
All right, Gabrielle, thank you for that live report tonight.
We will continue to follow the latest in this case as both sides now prepare for trial. You can find our full coverage and any updates right now at woodtv.com.